In 16 months, we have given up the Constitution, capitalism, family values, parts of our freedom. What the hell is next? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, April the 24th. And quite a week. Markets got hammered, and the continuing saga grows on in the world, and nothing looks too good. I got to tell you, it's unfortunate. The greatest country in the world is giving up so much of our freedom and giving up so much of our power. Why would we as Americans stand for it? I mean, when you walk back and think about it, okay, we are now paying more. There were 3 times for oil what we were paying just 16 months ago. Okay, we are now seeing the destruction of Russia and Ukraine through each other, which is causing great deals of food supply issues in the world, not to mention some of the other things that are involved here. And you've got a weakening administration that could care less. Now, again, you have to wonder, you have to ask yourself, how is this going to affect us as Americans? All right. And, you know, with the destruction of family values, don't you think that's part of the problem that we see here? The loss of true capitalism leaving. Okay, not following the Constitution. And now, of course, we've got the food shortages, the supply chain issues. Okay, for what? For no reason, which makes absolutely no sense. Okay, I mean, right now, Americans are spending more, making less, and borrowing to do so. Now, I think that obviously, you know, right here, we have coined the phrase for the last 10 years, you cannot borrow your way out of debt. Okay? But yet, the imbeciles that run this country continue to decide to try to borrow a way out of debt from the Federal Reserve, which is about as clueless as you can get. Okay. And again, I'm not saying they're not smart people, and I'm not saying they're bad people, but when it comes to understanding the free market, okay, and again, free markets, asset classes will price themselves. Okay, in the true free market, the asset classes will price themselves through price discovery. But we don't want that anymore. Now, why would we want to destroy what is real? And I think these are questions. I mean, I could go on all day, but right now, the average American is making more money. Okay, I mean, since last March, basically, you're probably making 5% more, 6% more. However, you're spending 20% more. So you tell me how that computes. How long until you go bust? And that's the issue. And I think this is done by design. Okay, and I'm concerned. You know, I'm not so concerned for myself. I mean, as I've told you before, I won't be here when the crap or the shit really hits the fan. Okay, but I'm not worried about me. I'm worried about you, your family, my children, your children, grandchildren. Okay, look at what we've done here. Okay, I mean, you've got the borders flooding in, and in fact, 26 border governors are creating their own task force or strike force, okay, to guard the border. I mean, where is President Biden? Where is Kamala Harris? Taking care of the border issues. Are you happy that your money is going towards illegal aliens? I'm not saying that we should not have human rights and welcome people into this country. I mean, this country was founded and built basically by foreigners, okay? We were probably all foreigners at one time. But don't you believe that they should come in legally? don't you think they should come in, prepared, and not just the murderers and the drug dealers who can just walk right in this country? Now, again, I don't know about you, but I find that, concerning. I mean, and then you get into the jawboning, okay, of the Federal Reserve being blamed for the sell-off. Listen, these markets are weak. We don't have to. The Fed is ignorant as it is, okay, and don't have any common sense and don't understand logic. Okay, so that's not a surprise. We have said here for years that it would be blamed on the Fed, but their stupid policies would be the demise of the financial system. And once again, and I hate to be right because we're being proven right, because of the Fed's lack of capacity to understand what was going on 10 years ago, okay, 12 years ago, when they first bailed out the banks, which they should have never bailed out, but they did. Okay, so now go back to May of 2013 when Ben Bernanke wanted to hike rates in May, and the markets had a taper tantrum, they call it, the famous taper tantrum, and he backed off. So we should be already at 7 or 8% interest rates, okay, and at least not having negative nominal rates, because our rates are negative and nominal, which again shows you your spending power versus your earning power. So if they would have done the right thing and not been a political agency, and this goes to all presidents, this is not one only, this goes to all of them, including President Trump, who wanted them to lower rates and continue with the cheap money. Okay, because of course everybody knows that if you have money, the cheaper the money, it benefits you, and you can borrow. When you can borrow it too, and know that you automatically can return 10, that's a pretty good arbitrage. But as this Fed tries to search for a neutral interest rate, well, when the horse is run away, and it's too late to build a fence. Okay. Now the Fed should have been hiking because the markets would absorb the rate hikes. The markets would move in concert and understand, and so they get a little bit of a sell-off. They'll find equilibrium like everything else does, like it always does, anyways. So why do we have to find a neutral rate if you just raise a small percentage every quarter or every month, you'd be back in line. But again, that's too easy for the geniuses in charge. Okay. But now we come to some of the bigger issues. Okay. China, which has been shut down for, I don't know, who knows how long, who knows what the hell they're doing over there. You never get any straight information out of China anyways. Okay. So there's a food shortage in China. Now, obviously, that's a pretty big deal because you don't think that that's not coming here. You don't think there's already food shortages that we don't hear about in some of the poorer nations. Now, we have a very, very big problem here. First of all, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, which should not be taking place. But of course, when you have a weak-ass president that doesn't care and is more interested in figuring out ways to grab money and take care of his family through money that he gets in these ways, Hunter Biden and others. But again, you have a conflict or a war, senseless war in place right now. It's still going on. And of course, Russia and Ukraine control about 30% of the wheat crop plus other things, including natural gas and fertilizer components. And yet here we are threatening these stupid ass sanctions, which don't work. Okay. There's only one way to make the sanctions work, and that's to drill and drill and drill and pump and pump and pump and get oil back down to $30 a barrel or less. And that'll hurt Russia. But other countries and other nations are getting around. And this is things that would have never happened under any other administration that I can remember. Okay. But with cryptocurrency now, other nations are getting around dealing with Russia and their supposed sanctions, which are not there, because they can use the cryptocurrency world. They can transfer, through the blockchain, okay, payments, and not deal with anything so it never comes to the surface. Now, think about that for a minute. So do you think that China and Russia really care about these stupid-ass sanctions? It's only on the face. It's only to show the outrage. Okay, the outrage in this country and from this administration should be, how do you end this damn war? Okay, and the only way to end this war is to make the prices of their key natural assets and natural resources to be reduced. So then they don't have the money, and suddenly the production cost is more than you sell it for. That's how you hurt somebody. You want to hurt somebody. You remember Trading Places? How do you hurt rich people? You make them poor people. Okay. Now, unfortunately, in many parts of the world, there's a few rich and too many poor. Okay, which leads to, as we were just talking about, the food shortage, which is going to come to this country. We're already experiencing massive supply chain issues. We're already experiencing empty shelves at the store. We're already experiencing much higher prices when you go to the grocery store. Okay, if you can get what you want, it's going to be a hell of a lot more. Okay, so you take that into complaint. Now, what happens in Africa? Okay, what happens in some of the poor nations? We'll be able to eat, but it will be a cost. Okay, there'll be a premium on having a sandwich now. Okay, and it's only going to get worse. Okay, you're seeing soybean oil. Okay, are limiting of cooking oil are eliminating this. They're putting a limit on how many you can buy. Now, let's go back 2 years ago when COVID started, or 3 years or whatever it was. Okay, when you had a limit on how many antibiotic wipes you could buy. Well, now they're limiting certain foods, how much you can buy. Okay, so as the government, okay, has stripped you, okay, of everything and secretly raised our taxes through inflation. Okay. Now, again, I believe that in 1776, we went to war over this, right? I mean, taxation without representation, that is not a position that we want to be in. But of course, that's exactly where we are. And that does not, by the way, again, that does not just strictly correlate to this administration. This goes back years and years and years as they've continued to, spend money that they don't have to buy things that they don't need because they know that, the American people will pay for it. Okay. They'll pay for it through taxes. Okay. Which is why our taxes continue to go higher and why we continue to make less money. Okay. But you've now got Goldman Sachs, okay, saying they expect in 2023, there's a 35% chance of a recession. Okay. But again, is Goldman Sachs speaking to you in your best interest, or is Goldman Sachs speaking in their best interest? Okay. Remember, many of the firms in the world that have control typically may say things that they may believe to happen later, but they know they're not really ready to happen yet, but they'll do something to kind of benefit themselves first. Okay. It's kind of like front running and things like that. Again, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but being in this business for 44 years, I've seen a lot of things and I know the metrics that people use. But my real question to you is what? Okay. Are we not in a recession already? Now, you know that they don't tell us about economic times until years later when it's already over. Okay, what am I going to do in the meantime? Okay, when it's already over. That's the problem. Okay, when we continue to look at this, okay, is when is it over? And lastly, okay, President Biden has gone on to blame Russia and Putin for our expensive cost of goods and oil, which is bullshit. Because we were at $90 a barrel before one thing happened in Russia and Ukraine. Okay. And he's now blaming the Republicans for not having a plan to get rid of the recession. I mean, to not bring down inflation. Now, let me ask you a question. Who's got the power right now in Congress, in the Senate, and in the president? in the Oval Office. Okay, I don't think it's the Republicans. Now, I am not a Republican either. I am a true libertarian. Okay, and I don't like either party in this country right now. And we need term limits. We need all kinds of changes, but those aren't going to happen now until Americans wake up and decide that it's time for a real change. It's time to go back to the real Constitution and real America, okay, and decide that to throw these assholes out of office that have been there their entire lives. I mean, there's so many there that have made a career, not to mention Bernie Sanders, Mitch McConnell, Joe Biden, okay, Nancy Pelosi. I mean, again, I can name many, but I can't think of it off the top of my head, and I'm not going to waste your time. But I think you get the gist that the only way we can stop this is actually by putting term limits on. But again, remember, we continue to give up the components of the Constitution, family values, and capitalism. Where do you think that leaves you in the near future and down the road? Think about it. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. This is Sunday, April the 24th. We're going to step out here for a break. I'll be right back with, of course, our market report right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. What's up, kids? Well, again, an interesting week on the streets, but I always want to remind you, our sponsors, scrolling on the bottom or on the side, but Capital Trading Group, I have many brokers. Okay, I've been doing this for obviously a long time. I'm an old man, and I love, but I find the places that I believe are best, not only for myself, because whoever I recommend, I use myself, but who's better for you. And when it comes to commodities and futures trading, the first thing is if you use somebody who's not a commodities type broker and just a facilitator, you pay more, you get worse service, and you get problems. I can tell you one thing for sure. Capital Trading Group has the best customer service in the industry. Best I've ever seen, going back to when we actually didn't have to answer voicemail machines and go through an hour of trying to get through to a person. Okay, they answer the phone right away. But in the meantime, they're the only ones I could ever authorize to do letter of direction, which means they do all the executions for us. Okay, I think that they've got great products. They handle all my accounts. I just urge you to check them out. If you switch, you switch. If you don't, you don't. But I want you to check them out for yourself. Okay, again, I want you to benefit from what they do. And all you got to do is go to info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And that brings me to Trader Brokerage. Now, again, you want to talk about a home run. Okay, Trader Brokerage for equities and options is unbelievable. First of all, they have great service, very much like a Capital Trading Group. Okay, but again, you can call and get someone to pick up the phone. You send them an email, you get an answer. Again, I can tell you horror stories about not being able to get an answer, especially in the equity market. But at the end of the day, they're going to have crypto soon. We have the ability, we have their APIs, we have the ability, if you want to auto trade our equity portfolios for you at no charge. Okay, just the $10 a month you're paying Trader. And we have the ability to do your hedging portfolio at a licensing fee, but I guarantee it'll still be less than the commissions that you're paying now. And they're going to have cryptocurrencies as well soon. Check them out. try.trader.com/Bubba. That's try.trader.com/Bubba. And of course, our metals partner, Strategic Wealth Preservation. Look, that's where I buy all my metals. That's all I can tell you. It's hard to vet all these guys. I buy all mine from Strategic Wealth Preservation, swpcayman.com/Bubba-trading. That's swpcayman.com/Bubba-trading. And of course, our high school program, which we have to continue to rebuild because, again, the system changes and schools have been screwy. And, it's hard to give them something for free. Because they're too lazy and don't want to teach it. But check it out. Patreon.com/Bubba-trading. Patreon.com/Bubba-trading. That's Patreon.com/Bubba-trading. Let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report with myself, Todd Bubba Horowitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, April the 24th. And of course, what a week for the markets. What a beatdown. What a can of whoop ass that the markets took this week. And not a surprise. We've been talking about this for a long time. We've continued. And again, obviously we had some positions that were long during the weekend. We didn't change because of my opinion, but you could see this, you could sniff this out And I think that this is, as the carpenter is saying, we've only just begun. I think this is in the infancy stages of what is to come. Now, we're not going straight down. We're going to have some big rallies. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised in the next day or two to see, as I like to call them, a rip your face off rally. Okay. But again, I don't think that will do anything to change any directions. I think we're going to see an extended downturn. But again, we won't predict, but I do see that I think we're in a recession. I think we got problems. Okay. I think we're doing things too ass backwards. And again, I think it's the destruction and the dollars, and it does not, none of this benefits you, me. The average American continues to get screwed. Okay. In the meantime, all major indices, Dow, S&P, Russell, and NASDAQ got clobbered. Okay, this week, and they all broke to the downside. So they have finally broken out of that consolidation pattern, and they have broken to the downside. Now, we were coming in to today short the Russell, short the NASDAQ, and long the S&P and long the Dow. After either tonight or tomorrow, depending on when you trade, because the market's obviously open tonight at 6 o'clock Eastern, we will be short all four major indices. Okay. We will be selling. We will be getting short either tonight or tomorrow morning. And again, that's up to when you trade them. The metals markets. Now, it's interesting. Just a week ago, I was thinking that we're going to new highs in gold. They look over 2,000. It looked great. And suddenly it collapsed. Now, that gold is broken to the downside as well. Okay. Along with silver. So we're going to reverse gold and silver as well. Now, look, I love gold and silver, and I will always buy it for storage. But I can't, as a trader, I can't sit by. And of course, the algorithms have turned as well. So we'll be short again. That'll be tonight or tomorrow. Okay. We will be selling gold and silver and be short those. Okay. The crude oil market continues to, hover around that 100, pretty much of a flat week, slightly lower. But there's no reason that we're not going probably to new highs, maybe to $200 a barrel. Okay. Because again, unless something changes, that's, I think, where we're headed. And natural gas, we're going to be reversing natural gas. Now, we've been long natural gas since like about $3.50 or $4. It's almost $7, but it did peak, and now it is coming down and breaking to the downside, which would make more sense for this time of year. So we will be, again, that'll be, when you decide to do yours, it's but tonight or tomorrow. Natural gas. We will be short of copper. Got clocked a little bit last week. We're still short copper. The dollar continues to run. Now, again, that's an interesting story, but we don't have time to explain now. But the dollar is a fiat currency, so it's only valued against other things. What does it really buy? It buys less than it used to. But from a trading standpoint, it's over $1. It's over par, they call it. In fact, it's at $1.02, and we're still long the dollars. Okay. Bonds and notes had a slightly positive week, but they're getting clocked. I think there's what we would say, no hope, no soup for you. Okay. Interest rates are going a lot higher. Mortgage rates are already over 5.25%. So you can take that put that in your pipe and smoke it. Okay. And the grain markets, beans had a little bit of a down week. We're still long. Corn was a little bit down. Wheat was actually the strongest for a change and held. We're long them all. Okay. And I think they're going a lot higher. Again, this is not just because suddenly we had buyers. This is because there's shortages. This is because there's been bad crops, on the other cycle. Brazil, which operates in the opposite of us, they had a horrible year. Australia. So there's going to be, and I told you that, there's going to be a food shortage. Okay. So you can talk all you want, but, there's going to be a shortage. And of course, the meats, the protein complex, hogs are very strong, okay, and cattle is strong, which is interesting. We're short cattle and long hogs, but I think this is the issue is that cattle is going to go by the way of oil. Okay, when oil goes up, cattle is probably going down, and I think that's going to be a problem, because really we're now coming to a budget issue for Americans. What can I afford? And I got to fill up my tank. Remember, I always got to fill up my tank. I got to eat and I got to get gas. Okay. So I think that's how it's got to be figured. Okay. Now, as we take a look into the softs, okay, You've got cotton, which we're going to be reversing. Okay. Now, it had a great run. And listen, we bought cotton originally. And again, we weren't long the entire time, but we bought cotton originally at 50 cents. Now it's $1.35. Okay, we're going to be shorting now. Again, that'll be tonight or tomorrow, depending on what you want to do. Okay. Coffee, we're still long. Sugar, we're going to be reversing as well. Now, sugar was another commodity that we thought was getting ready to really break out. It was doing great, and it just fell apart, and we're going to be now shorting sugar. Cocoa, we're short already. And OJ continues to, defy. We're short it right now. Now, we made a killing on the way up, okay? And it came down. We got short, and it's been up a little bit the last few days, but, I mean, think about it, $1.80. Which is, those are higher than the trading places prices. But again, this is what what inflation is. And Bitcoin continues to be stuck in a wedge in a range without much excitement and not much movement. It can't really seem to get off center base, and it can't really seem to get going in either direction. Okay, I mean, listen, we're big fans of cryptos. Again, I don't own a ton. I own enough that if it went out of business tomorrow and there was no such thing, I would not lose a night's sleep. But I am involved, and I do trade, and we do trade the futures. Anyways, look for a bumpy week, but expect a big rally at some point that's going to fail. Just trying to find the spot, which would be a resistance, to try to sell. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 24th of April. We're going to step out here for our final break and come back with our commentary. And we'll be right back with Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, I'm not going to go through all the whole speech about my partners, but remember that if I vet them and I tell you they're my partners, that means I'm using them myself. And remember, that's Capital Trading Group, Trade Your Brokerage, and Strategic Wealth Preservation, which they're all going down the side. And then, of course, our high school program. Again, as I say, when I tell you something, I am using them myself. Okay. I'm not a spokesman. I'm a customer that uses their products because I believe in them. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't use them. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. We're going to get back to the show and my commentary right now. Welcome back. And of course, this is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, April the 24th. And, I got a question for you. Okay. Why is President Biden so sheltered? Why is it that we can't have true access to him? Why is it that he can never speak without having to have a teleprompter? Why don't we hardly ever see him, okay, except for little short sound bites at a time? Why is it that we haven't investigated Hunter Biden, okay, and all of that goes back into Ukraine and other parts of the world that are really, problematic for us? So how did we get here that we went from every day, every hour of every day? In fact, CNN was built on the back of harassing President Trump and his family. And now, of course, we have President Biden, and CNN has had to have a restructuring program because they got no news anymore because nobody wants to cover the events of this president. Now, please explain to me, how can we continue to ignore, that this president has Alzheimer's? That's a sad news. Again, whatever I think about the man and the president, I don't wish Alzheimer's on anybody, but he's got it. Okay. Now, there's the man with his finger on the switch. Okay. Number two, you've got a vice president that has no care either. Why do we not hear anything? Why are they not harassed whatsoever? And why are they invisible? That's what I would like to know, because to me, those are things that bother me. Okay. And I think that they should bother you as well, because we don't get the straight story. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, April 24th. Well, again, be prepared. Buckle up for safety this week. And actually, I think for lots of weeks to come and probably months and maybe years. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It has been great to be with you. Thank you so much. We'll see you back here actually tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update, but of course, every Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line. Have a great week, everybody. Be careful and don't put yourself at too much risk. We'll see you next time. Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bubba Horowitz. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.